And I'm sorry I haven't posted in a while. I've just been super busy, but now I'm back. In this episode, I'm going to teach you how to use proper cutting skills. So here are knives used for different things. So for example, these knives are serrated, which means they're used for bread or tomatoes or blah blah blah. One of the special serrated knives is dedicated to a tomato because it has the exact shape and it's meant for tomato. Then there are these types of knives which don't have serrated ends. They're just used for vegetables that are easy to cut. Accidents may happen, and that's why we need to be safe. When you're cutting on a cutting board, your cutting board might slip and then you might cut yourself with your knife, and we don't want that to happen. So you can take a paper towel and wet it. Then you can put it under your cutting board so it doesn't move around as much and it's pretty stable. Here I have 2 tomatoes, a small one and a big one. And I also have the specific knife for it that I was talking about earlier. You don't really want to put pressure on the tomato and just cut down because then they'll slip out and it'll just splooge everywhere. So you want to take it and slowly cut down, which makes it a perfect slice. And then with the big tomato, I don't know how you cut your tomatoes, but I'll just cut mine into 4s. Just slowly cut it down like you did with the small tomato. So what you're going to do is you're going to slice the sides first, because inside is a ginormous pit. You cannot cut them in half. You can see a little bit right there. And then you're going to do the same with the other side. So now I'm going to show you how to do the porcupine slicing. So what you do is you cut in a little bit, but make sure not to slice all the way through because then it doesn't work. So just continue cutting lines across, like so. Then you turn it around and you're going to slice lines the other way. Now what you're going to do is you're going to push it all the way up and it looks like a porcupine shell, which is really cool. And you can just slice all the little squares off. And it's really easy and it looks neat and it's really cool. Now there's a lot of leftover mango, so you just cut the sides off. And if you hit the seed thing in the middle, then you can just go a little further out. Just keep slicing around the sides, like so. And I do this so you don't waste any mango, because mango is really good. So then you end up with these little slivers of mango and you can just eat it. That tastes very good. I'm going to show you how to cut an avocado now. So first you're going to take off that stupid little sticker that no one likes because they get in the way of everything. And then, once it's all good, you just cut straight through the middle and cut all around it. It's kind of weird because the pit just fell out and usually that doesn't happen. But usually when you cut the avocado open, it's stuck in here and you have to throw your knife against it. And then you just take it out and you throw it in the trash. So now you can just take off the skin by coming around and voila. It doesn't look so great, but it's the easiest way and it comes off perfectly. And then just cut it out however you want and eat it because avocados are really good for you and they taste good. Now I have the onion, and they're kind of hard to cut sometimes because they have all the skin and they have so many layers, so sometimes it's hard to keep it all together. After you cut this little dangly bit off, you can just peel off the skin really easily. The easiest way to keep the onion stable is to chop a little bit off right here so it stays flat. Then after that, you cut through little lines and just keep going until you get to the top. Then you just cut through like so, and you have loads of little pieces, and it's really easy. And then if it gets a little unstable, like it is for me right now, you can just cut like this to make it better, and you still can use that part to cut it up. This is a time where you might cut your fingers, like the ends right here, because when you're cutting a pepper, you go chop, 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 all the way through. Well, that's what I do. And if you don't want your fingers to get all hurt, then you can put them in this shape. Because then if you would chop your finger, you only graze it a little by the ends. So it doesn't really hurt that much. So next you're going to cut the garlic clove. And usually, mostly, garlic cloves come in whole garlic. And so you need to peel your garlic. You can just peel it off. It's really easy. And then you can just pull some garlic cloves out like that. Now you have your garlic clove. But if you can't peel it off, then here's a way. You get your knife and squish it down really hard, like that. And then it peels a little, so you can just pull all of it off. And it makes it a lot easier. So sometimes if you cut your garlic in half, you get this little green stalk. Those green stalks make your breath smell bad when you eat garlic. So I like to pull those out. It's easy to do with a small knife. So usually you want to completely obliterate your garlic clove into little pieces. I'm going to make them into little pieces. So just cut them into smaller pieces at first. So then it's easier to cut them. Keep going. And then you have pretty small pieces. So you just gather it all together. And this is when it's easier to use a big knife. You can go chop, 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 chop. And then gather it all together. And eventually, it just becomes really small pieces. Those are just some ways to cut your vegetables and just some tips for your kitchen. See you next time on Lily's Yummy Num Nums. Please subscribe and click the like button.